Hey, you guys, and welcome to American Culture. So, I have returned from my trip to Costa Rica, my missions trip, and my life has been thoroughly changed. I'll tell you guys, when I got back to Orlando, I had already started the crying thing when this little boy fell in the little slums that we were at. And there was something about him just not wanting to let go. It's like God finally made the dream real to me. I had been having this dream that I'm like a foster mom to thousands of kids. Like I raised these women up in Jesus's name, and they go off and do great things, and they bring their kids back to me. Look, this is who raised me. I've always seen that. I dare to say, like a little Mother Teresa. I'm serious, you guys. And when I went on this mission trip, it all came full circle. So I was already like in my feels about it. And when God gives you a dream and you a vision, it only belongs to you. And there are going to be times where things are like, wow, really clicking in your head, and other people, it's just a trip. Um, when I got back to Jacksonville, not Jacksonville, but Orlando, and I was standing there, and there was all these expensive cars and people waiting to get picked up and their signs. And you guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. My life is strange, and I've had some very awesome experiences. And I used to love being that somebody has a sign for me, I'm going to the car. I know I used to love that making my way through the crowd experience. But as I was standing there watching this excess, knowing that there was at least $40,000 worth of phones, probably multi millions of dollars, just standing on this curb, and thinking, where does it all go? I started to cry. I could not come back to this life. I just couldn't do it, you guys. My head hurt. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what I was going through. It was like a whirlwind of in a drastically different world. Like I had just snapped out of some type of illusion. The thing is, you guys, they say that it's going to happen whenever you go on missions. I guess if your heart's in the right place, it will. Who knows? Or where your heart is, the more you go on this, the more you'll get it. I had over the course of the past few weeks had to redefine what I thought was success. You see, I'm not going to sit here and we're going to talk about money because everybody got to get a little bit more comfortable with talking about how money works. We give it way too much power, but that's a different story for a little later on. And so I, by American standard, by world standards, I'm all right. I'm living the dream. I have the credit score. I have the money. I have the place to live. I have all of the things that in America you would look at me and say I'm a success. But you guys, I just didn't feel like that. A couple weeks before, this trip, God had me rethink what success was, and I think I might have made a video about it and put it out. I'm not quite sure, but it really is coming to the realization that success simply means it works. This was created to do this, and it's doing that. And so I could stop needing a thousand other things to take place in order to equal success, i.e., independence. And like I said, I didn't really understand why I had to go through such a rewiring of my thought process that success wasn't stuff and that success was just it works. And it was because of now. You see, here in American culture, we think that success equals independence. We think that being successful means I can do this thing called life without you, without you, without you, without you, without this, without that. And you can't be a Christian and truly feel that way. And in fact, you can't believe in God and truly feel like success and independence. If you believe in God, then the concept of independence is an illusion because you can't be independent when there's some present that's always with you. And so I realized that I had chased down the American illusion that success equals doing it all on your own. And it was almost like no matter what I got, no matter how much money I had, the fact that I could have a passport, the fact that we could go to the Caribbean tomorrow if we wanted to, I looked to my left, I looked to my right, and there was nobody there to share this with. And not just because they didn't have the resources, because I don't mind, I'll pay for you, let's go. It was simply because they didn't, they weren't, they were still trying to be very independent. And so there was nobody who could join in my joy. There was nobody who could literally live in joy with me. And so no matter the more stuff I got and the more I could do, the more and more people fell off. And I started to recognize this is not life. God doesn't need me to have all of this stuff. And when I got back here, it suddenly hit me what I had done. I had idolized where I lived. Where I live, I thought gave me the protection and gave me shelter. No, God gave me where I live. God is above that. I thought that it was the money that gave me security. No, God gave me all the ability to make the money. God did that too. And so I recognized that I had idolized all these things that I had gained through my independence. And I had said, okay, house, you're God here. You're giving me the shelter. Money, you're God here. You're giving me the security. Person, you're God here. You're giving me the love. And it wasn't until I got back here and I realized that none of that is it. God wants me to live at my means. I'm to provide for what I'm supposed to have. Do I shun nice things? No. Should I be able to live here in this apartment? Yes. Should I be able to freely and comfortably? Yes. God doesn't need me to suffer. He doesn't need me to struggle if that's not where I need to be. I don't have to become a pauper to show my connection to the Lord. But I do have to understand and give glory that all of this came from Him and recognize what I need to fuel this and give the rest away. And I think that's where I was failing at before. And I will call that a failure. I didn't recognize that God gives you enough to supply the life that you need, but the rest you've got to give away. The rest of your energy, the rest of your time, the rest of your love, the rest of your money, all that stuff you have to give over to other things. So today, my lease, I have to put in the paperwork today, my 60-day notification of whether I'm going to move or not. And I was going to do this before I went on my mission trip, but God told me to wait. And now I know why, because He's putting me in a position to where I get to see Him move. I get to see how not independent I actually am. And so I am, and I want you guys to say a little prayer for this. I'm going to do it in a couple of hours. I'm going to go ahead and put this video up. Go down there, and then tomorrow, maybe I'll have an update, or later on this week, I'll have an update from what the apartment people say. But I really don't see myself moving. I've made a commitment to the Lord to become a full-time missionary. I will tell you in another video on how that all got started. But I've made a commitment to the Lord to become a full-time missionary, to really live out this purpose and this dream that He put inside of my heart, because I get nothing else but joy from that. And after this trip, I've come to realize that that's all the currency that I need. I have seen the mountaintop of wealth in so many ways that I can't even discuss, and learned that that was not where I was trying to go. And so into full-time missions it is. And I do not need to be signing another year-long lease at $2,000 a month in order to be able to do that. So I'm going to go down there, and I prayed about it, and the answers came in the morning. I had to sit there, and again, I will go into very deep detail in another video about how this whole trip helped me to trust in the Lord and really live that and what it means. But I trust what God is telling me. He told me to ask Him for $1,706 to take it down to that. What I'm going to do with the rest is essentially tithe that 10%. I'm still going to be paying about $2,000 a month for living expenses. But there was this woman in Costa Rica where God was like, Alicia, she needs a break. Now, you understand the break I gave you. Right now, my life is paid for. I live relatively comfortable. We're not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It's happening. And so it cost me $2,000 a month to do that. And the irony is, and there's no such thing as irony, and as I learned this week, and there's no such thing as a coincidence, it would take 10% of that to give her the same type of pretty much structure that I've got. The bills are paid. Let's work on you getting to thinking straight. And so if I can give $200 a month to her, that would take me back up to what I'm already paying, minus the extra fees. And so I'm going to ask them for that, and to not put me on a lease. Let this be a month to month thing. I know that the church is saying that it's going to take about 6 months to get me really ready and organized enough to be able to go out there. I have some other fundraising stuff that I have to do. Um, and of course, that'll be coming in the coming days and weeks, you guys, as I get the GoFundMe's and things like that out there. But I do have to go down to the complex today and give over my idea that success is independence, and ask the manager, hey, I'm going to type it up and say, hey, can you send this over to the right person and see if they can have a little compassion on me? Maybe be the first, donator to me becoming a full-time missionary, but just giving me this little bit of a break, not having to sign the lease, knowing that I'll probably be out of here within 6 to 7 months. Let it go down to the 1,700 and something dollars, and I'm just going to ask for that. And if God wants to provide more structure for that, then great. I know now, with any resources that I have, time, effort, energy, money, that the extra bit of it goes out. It does not stay with me. This is not mine to keep. And there's this that was the drastic change from success being independence and me needing to keep all this stuff just in case I needed it, to knowing I don't need any of this. My God will provide it. And if He gave it to me and it's extra, He wants me to figure out where it needs to go so that people can see His works through me. People will know His love through me. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful place for me to be. So, you guys, say a quick prayer for that the people at the apartment complex allow me to do all the stuff that God says that they're going to allow. I have full faith that they're going to do it, and go from there. But yeah, success is not this drastic bit of independence that we all think that it is. Success doesn't work the way that it should. And so you really have to get into the understanding of the way God wants us all to work. And it's not to be these independent people that are disconnected, it is to be connected and unified. And so this independence is creating not that. It's not independence. It's really separated from the way God wants you to live. Knowing that I have drastically changed the way that I am going to be living my life from here on out. Have a blessed day, you guys. And like I said, if you pray and you watch this, say a quick prayer for me to get all those things worked out, because that's really the first step in my leap of faith, letting go and trusting God. Have a blessed day. Bye.